Hi, this video is going to be looking at sights, sight picture, and sight alignment. So what we have to remember is that when we're talking about our sights, we're talking about the rear sight and our front sight. Now this rifle happens to have a very common sight called a Patridge sight. The Patridge sight has a post for the front sight and then something like this for the rear sight. Now to align this up and get our sight picture, you want to make sure that you have it even across the top and equal space on both sides of the post.
This picture shows our sight picture for the Patridge sights. You can see the rear sight, front sight, and target. In this case, it is using the center of mass, so it's lined up to the center of our bullseye. In this next picture, it's actually using 6 o'clock, or what we call pumpkin on a post. So it's lined up just under the bullseye.
Another common type of open sight is our Buckhorn. Well, you will still have the post for our front sight, but our rear sight will be a little bit different. It has a little fancier sides. But the same concept goes that you want to have it even across the top and equal on both sides. Another common open sight is the V-notch. The V-notch has a bead at the front and then a V for the rear sight. When it's lined up, you want to have the bead right nice and smooth in the middle of that V. Those are looking at the three common open sights. Another common sight that we have is our aperture or our peep sight. In this case, we have circles for the front and circles for the rear sight. When we have those lined up, you want to make sure that there's equal space along the circles.
Here is the sight picture for our aperture or peep sights. In the first photo, it might be a little hard to tell if there's equal distance between the rear sight and the front sight. So you might move your head back on the stock to be able to get what you see in the second picture. There, it's a lot easier to see if there's equal space between the circles on the rear sight and front sight, and also equal space between the front sight and bullseye.
There are also some other sights that you can get. This is a telescopic or scope. In this case, it generally magnifies what you're able to see on the other side. Another sight is our aim dot. The aim dot actually has a little red dot that when turned on projects onto this front part of the sight. And the shooter looking down can see the red to show where they should aim.
This shows the aim dot. As you can see, it projects the dot onto the front of the sight, but not actually downrange.
Now there's another sight that I don't have, but it's similar to the aim dot, in which case it is called the laser. And that actually projects a laser dot downrange to wherever you're looking at. Remember, when you're aligning your sights, you always want to focus on the front sight. This is because your eye can only focus on one thing at one distance at a time. To help figure this out, an easy thing to do would be to put your thumb out and look at the wall down in front of you. If you focus on your thumb, what does the wall look like? It should look blurry. So now, if you focus on the wall, how does your thumb look? Your thumb is now blurry, but the wall is in focus. This is the same thing when you're shooting. So if you focus on your front sight, the target will be slightly blurry and your rear sight will be slightly blurry, but you'll still be able to shoot.
Let's review. What is this sight? Patridge sight. What is this sight? Buckhorn sight. What is this sight? V-notch. What is this sight? Aperture or peep sight. What sight picture is being used here? Center of mass. What sight picture is being used here? 6 o'clock or pumpkin on a post.